Oh, Thursday night, we always look forward to Nigel coming in. It's the end of our working week, and you've always got a story to tell. Nigel from Nigel's Animal Rescue.
G'day, boys. Great to be back again.
Yes, good to see you. As we approach the end of winter, the beginning of spring is near.
Oh, it's very, very close. Just around the corner, probably in about 3 weeks' time, I expect all the magpies to come out and start swooping people.
Yes, as they do so well.
Well,
although not every magpie, of
That's
course.
exactly right. I believe less than 2% of magpies actually swoop.
Mm-hmm. Imagine if they all did. We could never go outside.
Nobody could walk the streets of Australia throughout breeding season. So what is it that makes a small percentage of the ones swoop people?
Well, I know, but I don't want to show off. I only know because you've told me.
Oh,
And also, other birds too, they're very territorial.
Yes, they are very protective over their young. Actually, the babies are starting to hatch already.
And I think they hatch on the ground, don't they? Rather
They certainly
than in
do.
the tree.
They love to be at kindergartens and schools, and where all the kids are. It makes it very difficult for the kids to go out, so that's where I get involved and sort out those problems. But just getting back to the magpies, because they're the main ones that really cause an issue within society.
Yes. Why do they swoop?
Well, it's because they've been interfered with in the past. Now, that can be something as simple as a baby magpie that's on the ground, you're walking along, it's been blown out of the nest, and what do you want to do? You want to go and rescue it, don't you?
Yeah, sure.
So you walk up to it, you pick it up. Now, as soon as you've picked up that baby magpie, the adults will be in the trees watching you. So what do they see you as? A predator.
Yeah.
So they'll start to swoop you. Now, you've just turned that bird into a swooping bird.
Oh, really?
Now, if it's a kid with a red helmet and a blue jacket on, you'll find that the magpies will swoop kids with blue jackets and red helmets.
Yep.
They will individualise people out of a crowd. I've seen it many a time.
Because they don't as such look for a race or a breed of person. That what they are looking for is, in their own minds, the animal that is attacking their family.
Well, the person that's attacking you, their
But
family.
in their eyes, it's just some animal that has invaded my territory.
Exactly.
Yeah. They don't say, oh, it's a human, they're probably trying to help, oh, they'll be all right. They just see an animal of some description.
Yes,
So what are
absolutely.
you telling us? We see a baby magpie on the ground, we leave it there.
Well, yes and no. If there's no cats and dogs around, obviously monitor the bird. The best way to pick up a magpie in the daytime is to actually sit there and watch it, and you'll see the parents come down, feed it on the ground, and then they will disappear and they'll fly off, and leaving the baby behind while they're out searching for food. It's when they're out of sight and you know that they're not around, that's the time to do it. Prepare yourself with a box, walk up to the magpie, pop it straight into a box, close it over, do it very quickly, and the adults obviously won't see it. The other way to do it, there's two other ways. One is to do it under a blanket. Put a big blanket over your whole body, walk up to the bird, and while it's under the blanket, pop it into the box that way.
And take it where?
Well, one of the wildlife shelters. Ring the wildlife people or myself, and we can put you in touch with the closest shelter around. And the third way to rescue a magpie is after dark. So if you're seeing one just before dark that's on the ground, once it does get dark, the adults go to sleep and you're able to rescue it quite safely.
Interesting.
It is very interesting.
My wife and I actually had your assistance. We called you because we thought we'd found a crow or raven with a broken wing or something wrong with it, because the thing just couldn't fly, and it was a big black bird. And we've looked at this poor thing and said, we'll rescue the poor thing. We'll ring Nigel. Nigel will come over. Nigel came over and picked up the bird, had a look at it, because we'd taken it inside to our house. Had a look at it and said, nothing wrong with it. You've kidnapped a baby.
Oh, no.
That's right. As there's after the birds are fledged from the nest and they're on the ground, they're learning how to fly. They can take 2 or 3 days before they get their strength up to be able to fly. So, give it a couple of months down the track from now that people will be finding a lot of birds on the ground. So you've really got to assess the situation before you get involved.
Okay, now we were thrilled to have Ninon in last week, and
wasn't that wonderful?
And that wonderful book she's illustrated on cockatoos.
Yeah, Cockatoo Chorus. I've had half a dozen orders already. So if anybody remembers the interview and wants Ninon's book there, please contact myself.
Yeah, Nigel or Nigel's Animal Rescue.
That's right. And one thing that we didn't mention last week, that I believe that Ninon Phillips is Australia's oldest wildlife carer at 93.
Yeah, possibly she is.
Yeah. Unless somebody else can come forward and let me know there's somebody else there older than her. Just an amazing lady.
Oh, my 109-year-old aunt, she liked animals.
Yeah, well, maybe we can pass a few over to her.
Yes, doesn't quite quite count unless she's actually out there being active chasing them.
Now, am I breaking the law hand feeding a possum every night after dark?
It's something that we don't encourage people to do,
With
is
an
to feed any wildlife whatsoever. But it's Australian tradition to feed the magpies, put an apple out for the possums or the rainbow lorikeets and some seed and things. So as long as the animal doesn't become dependent on you for its total food source.
Well, I missed out last night because I didn't get home till dawn.
Yeah, well, this time of the year, there's not as many leaves and food around for the possums.
Sure.
So just a little bit of supplementary. It doesn't go astray.
I know people who leave out bread for possums.
Now, that is a no-no.
And that would attract rats.
Yes.
Bread's a no-no for possum?
Well, it's processed food.
Yeah,
you never feed. It's like feeding kids lollies and sugar.
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely. Any sort of processed food for wildlife, no. Big no-no.
We throw crusts and things outside for the maggies.
That's not good. Not good for them at all.
Oh, okay, because they do love it.
They do.
They prefer meat, don't they?
The magpies, yes, they do. With the bread, you can keep it at home, let it go stale, crush it all up and use it as breadcrumbs.
Now, how disgusting those arrows shot into that poor kangaroo during the week.
Yes, Hillary the kangaroo. I haven't heard an update, but it was one of my friends that were out there at the time and helped capture the kangaroo. But I just hope when this fella goes to court that the judge actually does give him jail time for that as a deterrent for anybody else out there, because every year we get at least 2 or 3 roos that I hear about that do have arrows in them. I've had geese, I've had nail guns in magpies, and recently on the
the
news...
bloke's credit, he dobbed himself in.
He did, which is the first time I've heard of somebody handing himself in. So there might be a chance of rehabilitation with him, because he's actually handed himself. He does have a conscience, obviously, unless he feels as though somebody knew who he was and was going to dob him in beforehand. So, but the main thing is, we do have the fella there, which is great, because all of the stories that I've done over the years with cruelty, we've never been able to capture anybody.
Yeah. Now, do you want to talk about roadkill for a moment? Because that's
yes, roadkill, yes, especially with magpies. You'll always find, if you find a dead magpie on the ground, especially in the breeding season, no doubt within 20 metres or so, I'll guarantee you'll find a second magpie. They come down to actually mourn the death of their young or of their own kind.
Really?
And you'll always find droppings around the outside of a dead magpie on the ground, which actually proves that they are coming down, hanging around, checking it all out. So, any roadkill that anybody sees on the road, no matter how big or small, it should be removed off the road, because we do get a lot of secondary roadkill.
Yeah, and you see a lot of cockatoos on the Eastern Freeway near Chandler Highway Q. They're always gathering there.
I'm finding a lot of cockatoos and a lot of corellas around Melbourne in huge flocks in different suburbs around. And I actually have seen down in the Frankston area cockatoos that are actually breeding with the corellas.
Oh, yeah? Is that right?
And I call them a cockerella.
Now, I've got to tell you, something happened to me. I often, because we're driving home at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, quite often, maybe once a fortnight or so, I'll spot a fox running along the side of the Eastern Freeway or just near a park somewhere. And I always think, they would live there. There's a golf course in Doncaster, which I pass on the way home, and you just know that's where they live, and no wonder they're running around there. I was backing into my driveway. Now, you've been to my house.
Yes.
I am in a suburban built-up area. I was backing into my driveway the other night, and directly across the road, standing in the driveway opposite, was a fox.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
And as I've watched this fox, he's jumped over the fence to go into another neighbour's property. And it just sort of disappeared around the backyard.
How cheeky.
Yeah, they're extremely cheeky.
And fearless.
They are in the suburbs. I always tend to find the foxes like to hang around the elderly people's homes that don't go into their backyards. The foxes realise how much activity goes on in different properties, and there's always a house with a bungalow out the back, and quite often you'll find a fox den underneath the bungalow.
There might be food out there? Or?
No, it's a safe environment for them, because of behind fences, there's no cats and dogs at the property, and the foxes know this, and they'll pick the backyards that are very rarely visited by people.
Really?
Yes.
How interesting. By the way, speaking of cockatoos, I feed my wild lorikeets with sunflower seed.
Yes, I've seen those.
And I have 2 cockatoos that come down every day, and they are so tame that I hang the sunflower bells on a hanging basket.
Yes.
And they will just sit on the basket while I pop the bell there.
Yeah,
for them.
that's right. I mean, animals will become used to you and routine.
Yes.
And,
fearless.
but as I say, if you get a stranger come into your yard, the cockatoos will take off.
Yeah, it's amazing. I can take Matty for a walk around the block on his lead, and that's fine. But if my friends Jill or Edna try, he just stops still and won't move.
Yes,
he just won't go with them.
Yeah, no, animals
or keeps looking around for me.
Yeah.
Where's the boss?
That's it. Animals are very, very intelligent. A lot more than what we know.
Now we have to go, but if you're out and about and you find an injured animal, if you see something stuck in a tree that you can't get, an animal in trouble at all, Nigel's Animal Rescue. It's an easy business name to remember, an easy something. Fridge magnets to stick on your fridge. What is the phone number for Nigel's Animal Rescue?
The phone number to contact me is 0427 533 083. It is a handy number to put into your phone for when you're driving down the country road somewhere, you see the koala, kangaroo, wombat hit by a car, as I do network through the whole state.
Yep. So you ring Nigel, he can always put you through to the right people,
the closest people to the area where the animal is.
And your website again?
And the website's animalrescue.com.au, and I'd just like to say thank you to all my wonderful Facebook friends. I put a comment up about the fellow with the kangaroo the other day. Within 24 hours, I had over 100 likes on it.
Okay.
And so some great supporters. Anybody that wants to follow my rescues each day, you can log on Facebook at Nigel's Animal Rescue.
See you next Thursday.
Terrific. Looking forward to it.
Williamson. What's that?